right. Hello, everyone. Hello. I hope you're having a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. It is the start of the weekend, sort of. I guess yesterday technically was the start, but I hope you are all having a lovely, relaxing day. I am busy as usual. Just literally minutes before stream, I was updating one of my videos, so it's just always busy. Go, 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 go all the time. But sorry, I am a little bit late. I was trying to get everything in order, and it is what it is. I do my best, but anyways, neither here nor there. But today, as you can see, we are playing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and I am excited to see what happens next. Because last time, we weren't in a good place last time, so hopefully today, we'll be able to get Gina into a bit better of a place, right? So let's take a sip of coffee and then we'll dive right in. All right. Let's go ahead and say hi to our friends and get started. Greetings, friends, and welcome to Enigma Night Gaming. My name is Liara, and I will be your guide in today's adventure. Today we are playing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Now, in our last episode, all the jurors had decided Gina was guilty in a stunning turn of events. So hopefully today we'll be able to change some, preferably all of their minds. So without further ado, let's hop in and see if we can change the minds of some jurors. Hey, Matt, welcome in. How are you today? Looking forward to raid in a little bit. I've been so busy I haven't even looked at Discord or anything. Alright, time for the defense's rebuttal. What's a rogue always a rogue, I say? Different breeds to us law-abiding citizens. As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket. I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief. The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I can see I'm in for a busy day ahead. I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns. So at first glance, do any of these seem like we can pit them against each other? I'm not sure. Van Zeeks has managed to convince everyone. When you have eliminated the impossible, he said, but he hasn't. If we're gonna fight back, we need more material. And we have to fight back. We have to turn this trial around again. Alright, so, once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breeds to us law-abiding citizens. Let's press that. Hold it! Just because Miss Lestrade has a history of pickpocketing, she must be guilty of murder? Is that what you're saying? Ah, well... Are all members of the British Army so quick to judge? I beg your pardon? Are you mocking Her Majesty's Armed Forces, the greatest military organization in the world? No, I'm simply illustrating my point. Making assumptions about people because they're a soldier or a pickpocket is wrong and dangerous. Well, yes, might have a point there, I suppose. But let's not forget the girl had already shown she had it in her from before. She's clearly a criminal sort through and through, can't deny it. When you say that she'd shown she had it in her, you're referring to this? We're talking about the disc? Exactly. Tried to swipe that only a day earlier? Or am I mistaken? Not exactly. Given that I was actually there at the time, it's hard to refute that. I've never actually seen the real thing. I can't wait to have a closer look at it. Me too. We need to examine the blood on it and see whose blood it is. Oh yes, of course. Mr. Sholmes did use his caramel bars to make a copy of the disc, didn't he? And then ordered every type of music box he could find from across Europe. Yes, that is exactly what he did. We still don't know what tune it plays, though, do we? Nope, we do not. But I'd love to see how the original compares to Hurley's copy. The Gilded's disc. Could it be a clue somehow? Perhaps we should examine it in more detail? I mean, we could do that before we press her, right? As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted. Well, first, before we talk to you, ma'am, we are going to examine this disc, right? So let's take a look at this blood stain. Iris can use her device. Oh, Bruno, look! This is blood. Yes, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before. And then it's my time to shine again. I thought I'd be waiting forever. Alright, hold still with that disc, Bruno. Can we get this done quickly, Iris? In a flash! I mean, we're in the middle of court. Let's see, what color do we get? Wait a tick. I know that color. Oh, a lovely bright shade again. Wait, that color. Yeah, we've seen it before. It was on the calendar. What is it? It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, is it? Alright, so the blood samples portfolio has been updated. We finally have found a match. Is there anything else? I think we've already seen that note, right? Or maybe we could... I don't know if we've actually got a chance to read it, right? For McGilded. That's the man you defended in court a couple months ago, isn't it, Bruno? Yes, or rather, mistakenly defended. I wonder what his name is doing on the back of this disc. That's the question I'd love to know the answer to myself. Alright. So I guess it's just his name, not so much a note. Okay, actually, so let's look at our blood samples portfolio, right? So this is an unknown person. So whoever this was also this. Okay, so we've got a clue here. Let's go ahead and press her now.
Hold it!
It's the number of bullets that has you convinced. Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asks me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings. Well, that's logical, I suppose. Although... Yes? Sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china. Does your employer dine with thieves? So I suppose, if there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position. 3rd bullet somewhere on the scene. Would that be possible? I think it's possible. How could we prove it? Whoever was shot... See, I could say I can prove it, but the question is, what will they ask me? So, whoever was shot by the calendar also had their blood on the disc. I'm not sure how it's related exactly. I think we come back to her, right? Because I don't think I can prove it yet. I'm not convinced I can prove it just yet. Fortunately, only 2 bullets were discovered by the police during their investigation. Yes, I know. Right. And I don't imagine good men of Scotland Yard would have overlooked anything. I don't know about that. If I missed a bullet while I was cleaning his lordship's office, well, I should receive a sound scolding, I don't doubt. And he should receive a visit from the police, perhaps. It sounds like a crime scene to me. A 3rd bullet? It would completely turn things around if there was one, wouldn't it? Do you think we might find one lying around somewhere? You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket.
Hold it!
Let's see what you have to say. So, if I've understood correctly, you need two pictures. A left eye and a slightly different right... Wait, what? A slightly different right eye one? Exactly! Then you can see the scene in 3 dimensions, like this. I don't know what this has to do with what we're talking about, but sure. So if we have 2 bullets, I don't suppose you can see anything useful with them? I think you'll find that no matter how much you squint, the truth of the situation always looks the same here. The only person who could have shot the victim is that girl in the dock. How can you be so sure of that? Think about it. The Skulkin brothers shot the great detective, didn't they? Yes, that's been mentioned once or twice. Well then, surely it's coming into focus now, isn't it? This is a waste of time. I'm not going to change this man's mind anytime soon. Okay, wait, so maybe the 3rd bullet isn't the one in the calendar? Is it possible that Harlock has it on him somewhere? I don't know. Hey, what's up? I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief.
Hold it!
Still going on about that? Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here. Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that it has nothing to do with this trial, to be honest. Huh? I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach. What? What? It's quite inexplicable, don't you think? What? I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering about all the time, you were operating on... What was the fellow's name now? Herlick? No. Herlock? No. Hairlock? Oh, I knew it! Herlock Sholmes, by any chance? Yes, good lord! It was that Hairlock fellow! What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Sholmes? That's right, using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major op, I can tell you. This is crazy! Let me see. The fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They said he'd been shot by some criminal or other, so I opened him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with a fine-tooth comb, and I couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw up my hands and just stitch the fellow back up. I hate to state the obvious, but... Yes? Surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting. Hey, Night Flurry. Why did the children give Map a heart attack? The counsel for the defense is correct, as is clearly shown in this photographic print. The bullet that the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region, then exited his body and lodged into the shop wall where the calendar was hanging by the door. I think you'll find this really quite simple if you just consider the problem 3-dimensionally. Who do you think I am, son? Well... Juror number 4 is about the best I can do. Oh, I got you. As soon as I saw the wound to the man's stomach, I flipped him over. Like a pancake? And there was no exit wound, was there? There's the 3rd bullet. Are you saying you checked his back? Of course I did, and there wasn't a trace of injury, not a sign that the bullet had left the body at all. What? That's the point. The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somewhere in the man's innards. Which is exactly why I set about slicing him up. And I'm still none the wiser, even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can somebody please explain how it happened? Can somebody please solve the mystery? We found our third bullet, guys. It's awesome. It's almost as much of a mystery as how this jury was put together. The mystery of where that bullet ended up is infuriating. Where's an expert when you need one? Alright, so before we read her response, I will redeem the hydrate. You guys play nice now. Alright. The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I can see I'm in for a busy day ahead.
Hold it!
What do you mean you're in for a busy day? Forgot to say, stop! Do excuse me, stop! I am a communications officer, stop! Communications officer? Does that have something to do with sending telegrams? Everything from personal messages written by members of the public to the latest news in the capital. I convert all the messages into Morse code and then tap it out to the entire world electronically. To the entire world? Thousands of miles of cable under the sea, stop! Worldwide communication network, stop! Information transmitted to and from all corners of the globe, stop! Ah, yes. She was getting equally worked up about radio waves or the like before, wasn't she? I specialize in communicating information from government departments and newspaper offices. I see. I'm sure I shall have to wire the newspaper reports of today's guilty verdict later. So no sleep for me tonight, I imagine. Let's just finish the trial first, shall we? I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns.
Hold it!
See about that, shall we, sir? I thought you were just a tourist. He has to consult his English, Russian to English book. Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please. There's no way he just a visiting tourist. So, you're a ballistics expert. Who knew? I have much experience with guns. Ah. I have lived through many, how do you say, extreme, violent bath of, no, blood of, extreme violent bloodbaths, perhaps? Says the 10-year-old. Those extreme violent bloodbaths. English is a very difficult language, or tongue. Considering the sort of people you associate with, I'm surprised you still have a tongue. Anyway, if you have questions about bullets and guns, you ask me. There is nothing I do not know, no mystery I cannot solve. He's very confident in his knowledge of guns, that's for sure. But if possible, please only in Russian language. He's not very confident in his knowledge of English though, is he? No, still, we should bear it in mind. He's our man if there's a mystery about guns or bullets. So can we pit Juror 4 against him and see if they can talk to each other? Maybe? Then, okay, so now we repeat, right? Let's go back through and see if we can pit Juror... So there's two things we can try and figure out. We can try and figure out if Juror 4 can be pitted against Juror 6, and we can also see if Juror 4's information about another bullet changes Juror 2's mind. So let's go ahead and skip to Juror 4. Alright, so let's see if we can press you. Mr. Oh, whoops. That's not what I meant. But there's no questioning that Mr. Sholmes was shot. Well, that's what the police told me when they brought him in. How bad were his injuries, Doctor? He was in a bad way. He lost a huge amount of blood, you know. And I suspect he was shot at quite close range, too, because his skin was badly burnt around the point of entry. Burnt? As I said, I flipped the fellow over and examined his back. There was no sign of an exit wound, which is why I thought I'd better locate the lug and pop it out. And yet you say you found no bullet inside the patient. Well, I wouldn't have done, would I? Because it's in the wall of the pawnbrokers. But how did it get there? I need someone to solve this mystery before it drives me to insanity. If only there were some expert in ballistics who could help, even if he looked extremely untrustworthy. So we have a disappearing bullet on our hands. Oh, I didn't realize you could press them more than once. That's interesting. Alright, so let's go ahead and now we'll pit. I hit the wrong button before. Alright, so we'll pit juror number 4 against juror number 6. I am a ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns. The mystery of where that bullet ended up is infuriating. Where's an expert when you need one?
Objection!
Here we go! Those two statements clearly contradict the idea that all I do is pit jurors against each other. What? Oh, a ballistics expert? Pitting. P-I-T-T. I thought I was about to lose a point there. On the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers. But since there was no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6. Hello, my name is Violet. Pleased to meet you. This apparent contradiction in the facts that is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery? So he thinks about it. I have seen a very similar situation in Motherland. Really? It was night. There was blizzard. I was running away along mountain road in freezing cold. Golly! The snow was piling high on both sides of the road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles, and they were on dog sleds. Mental note, don't ask too many questions. I was shot from behind, and I fell down in snow. And this situation was very similar to what I hear today from doctors. They could not find bullet in my body, and no sign of, how do you say, exit wound. Then where did the bullet go? Bullet never hit me. Well, if it never hit you, why did you fall down? Bullet hit frozen wall of ice, very close to my side. What? One small piece, very sharp, broke away from lump of ice and pierced my body. It made deep wound that looked just like bullet wound. Oh, maybe, was there glass on the calendar? Maybe, or something like that. Maybe that ricocheted off into Sholmes. But then we still only have 2 bullets. We still don't have 3 bullets. Good gracious! Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside of me. And that is solution to mystery of disappearing bullet. I don't think so. But that doesn't answer the question at all. The shooting happened in a pawnbroker shop, not some snowy mountain road in another country. He's like so mad. That is true, though. Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here. Bruno? Where exactly was Hurley shot again? Well, according to the report, in his stomach. Sort of around this area, I think. Well, that's precisely where he always wears a little pouch on his belt. A pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that. Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps 3 glass vials of very dangerous chemicals that he uses in his investigations. Oh, so maybe the bullet ricocheted off those glass vials. But then who did the bullet hit that we got the green blood signature from? What, really? Doctor, where's the pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing? Well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital, as far as I remember. I bet it's on the floor at the pawnbroker. If you remember, episode or two episodes back, I think, I was like, what is this stuff on the floor here by the counter? We can't click on it. Oh, well, I guess it's nothing important. But it very clearly looked like something. If I may, Lord Van Zeeks? Well, I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to inject during a summation examination. I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom. Sorry? As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound. Ah, thank goodness. I thought I was getting forgetful for a moment. Since then, it has been in my safekeeping along with other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred. Very well. While extremely unconventional during a summation examination, I must demand the prosecution presents the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Mr. Herlock Sholmes' pouch. Wait. I see. So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes on the night in question, is it? Look at that! One of the files is broken and the leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if the file exploded. Exploded? So that night, the bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch. And it was the glass vial exploding that caused the fellow's injury. This bullet did not penetrate the victim, but was deflected inside Wolf's shop. Yes, he's just enjoying the show. A delightfully complex aroma. Well, it would appear one mystery has been solved, at least. Though it has no bearing on the truth of this case. Are you sure about that? The bungling and burgling brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered. Ugh, except for we still have an unexplained mystery here. But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man. Ah, thank you very much. Glad I could help. Due to its bearing on the conundrum just solved, the court will sequester the scruffy pouch as evidence. Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy. Alright, so Sholmes' pouch has been entered into the court record. The pouch that Mr. Sholmes was wearing around his waist at the time of the shooting. One of the glass vials is smashed and there are scorch marks around it. We need to ask Iris about that and see if she knows which one was smashed. Now, the summation examination. It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion. Please, my lord, a little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue, and you can't afford to overlook anything here, or there's still a way to turn this around. Somehow, I'm sure of it. Alright. So, let's go ahead and look at the court record and see. Let's look at... Where is it? Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at Mr. Sholmes' pouch and see if Iris can tell us anything about it, right? This file has been smashed to pieces. Presumably, this is where the bullet struck. As soon as the bullet hit the chemical in that file, there would have been a really big explosion. A big explosion? Well, Hurley's potions and chemicals are amazingly useful for the investigation work he does. But they're also quite tricky to handle, safely at least. They're very dangerous. Oh, I'm sure that when this file broke, the chemical inside would have ignited. Note to self, always walk on the right-hand side of Sholmes in future. The left is the danger zone. Alright, will she tell us anything about the other chemicals? These glass vials are full of Hurley's homemade potions. Homemade? Yes, like fingerprint powder to show up where people have touched things. And scent amplifying solution to intensify a smell lingering on an object. That's amazing. And they're all very easy to use. Just one thing you have to be careful of. They're all very flammable. Mr. Sholmes is a walking bomb. Either he's passionate about finding out the truth or just oblivious to the dangers. Okay. So what happened? Okay, so let's examine this. It's really scorched badly just here. Oh, the strap is broken, look. This must be where the bullet hit then. Let me see. Oh, we found it. Nice. What the? Iris, look! Behind where the broken file was, do you see it? Ah, that's the Skulkin brother's bullet. What a stroke of luck that it hit his pouch. This is an amazing discovery. What this means is, there were 3 bullets fired at Windibanks that night. We found exactly what that juror was talking about. The 3rd bullet. It's time to press that juror again, I think. Yes, alright. Time to press juror number 2. Nice. Is this anything important? Probably not, but let's look at it. Oh look, there's a hole here at the back. It doesn't look much like a bullet hole, but clearly something's ripped through the leather with great force. Something must have pierced it somehow to left this hole behind. Yes, it looks that way. Mr. Sholmes and his pouch both took a beating, didn't they? So, the bullet came in here, and then the file exploded and exited out the back, which was through his stomach. That makes sense. Okay, so now we understand how Sholmes was injured. Let's go ahead and get to juror 2. Alright, bypass all this. Hurley always turns up at just the right moment. Does he always come in the form of a pouch? Seriously though, it sounds like the great detective was on death's door. But maybe his injuries won't be for nothing. That pouch could be a very valuable clue. Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breed to us law-abiding citizens. Alright. So now, we can press juror number 2, and now we can prove there's a 3rd bullet. So I'm glad that we waited before. So let's go ahead and press her.
Hold it!
Alright. It's the number of bullets that has you convinced. Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asks me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings. Well, that's logical, I suppose. Although, yes, sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china. Does your employer dine with thieves? So I suppose, if there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position. A 3rd bullet somewhere on the scene, you say? Could that be possible? I can prove it! Here we go. Allow me to show you then, the 3rd bullet. Boom.
Take that!
Take that indeed. Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes, on the night in question in Windibanks pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired.
Hold it!
You gave us the evidence, sir. What is this new trickery, you Nipponese conjurer? Where did you find that bullet? It was lodged inside Mr. Sholmes's pouch. What? This pouch was removed from around Mr. Sholmes's waist before he was taken to the hospital. The fluffy sub? What is the fluffy sub? It says thanks for the fluffy sub. Oh, is that just a normal sub? Let's see. Oh, I don't know. Thanks, Matt. Alright. And since then, it has been touched by no one. Do you mean to say? The shot fired by the Skulkin brothers that night? Yes, as your lordship has surmised, it hit this pouch. But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Shulman. It's clearly visible in this photographic print. Ah! 2 guns from the scene have already been submitted into the court record as evidence. Yes, that of Mr. Windibank and that belonging to the Skulkin brothers. An examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each. Uh-huh. But that must mean... That's right. We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. Thanks for the sub, Night Flurry and Math, and I will redeem your hydrate. You guys are awesome. Hope you're enjoying the show. Alright. So, we now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene. And until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment. We foiled him. He shot in the heart. Order! 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 While this summation examination remains incomplete, the court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built. As is my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination. By Jupiter! What? Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once. And now they're very suspicious. Witnesses? Governor! Were you listening to the proceedings while the defense carried out the summation examination? We was, Governor, we was! Perhaps we can dispense with the tedious preamble. Simply answer this one question. A 3rd bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that? Make of it, Gov? I don't make nothing of it. Nothing if I... Is it one of yours? Go blimey, Gov! Go blimey, Gov! Not a chance! In that case, did you have an accomplice? What? What? Never! The Skulkin brothers work alone! It's just the 2 of us! That's our trademark! How soon we forget poor Sulky. Only 2 of the bullets from the crime scene originated from firearms here in evidence. We have an evidence. The 3rd bullet was fired from another gun. Where is it? Lumi, that's Ed Scratcher. He's like meditating. Counsel for the defense. Yes? I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these new developments. The 3rd bullet and the mysterious missing firearm from whence it came. Thinking back over all the testimony we've heard and all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear what this third bullet tells us about the Skulkin brothers. Let's see. They had a secret accomplice. They had another gun. It's nothing to do with them. One of these two, I think. Which one would it be? Did they both have a gun? Perhaps? Maybe? I think it's one of those two. Would there have been another person? Like, I could see it happening either way. Let's think about it. They have lied about everything. But they lied about both having an accomplice and having another gun. Let's go with secret accomplice. I really don't know. I could see either one of these, but let's go with this for now. On the night at Windibank's pawnbrokery, the brothers must have been working with a third man. The witnesses are clearly doing their best to cover up the existence of this accomplice. But the evidence all points to the fact that there was someone else present. Someone carrying a gun. Who is it? I don't know. Was it the fancy man from the beginning, maybe? I don't know. An accomplice, you say? Pig swell. These protracted proceedings have already forced us to endure 2 summation examinations. Yet in all that time, there has been not a murmur of a third man, and this apparently wraith-like being exists. The court must be shown hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed. The prosecution demands answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof, evidence that this accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime. And secondly, the identity of this spurious character. The Skulkins are lying, I know that. But how can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding? Well, counsel? That means the blood, right? I'm supposed to prove the existence of this accomplice and reveal the person's identity even. In response to the prosecution's demands, my lord, the defense is... Are we ready or unready? What? We have the blood stain, right? I have a theory who it could be, but we don't have proof. What we do have is that the blood on the disc... No, I take that back. I think I do know because... Wasn't it? It was that guy that grabbed the disc. I think we're ready. Let's try it. The defense is ready. I believe I can provide all the answers the prosecution demands. So, my Lebanese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promises to be interesting. I have to push forward now. There is no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me if it will make a difference. In that case, counsel, I would ask you to present the evidence without delay. On the night in question, in the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof have you that there was a third intruder present at the scene? So... proof that we have about the third intruder, I think, is the blood, unless it's the bullet. But I'm gonna see if this will work, right? The blood samples portfolio, let's just see.
Take that!
The evidence is right here in this portfolio. By Jove, that portfolio again, is it? Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific. Okay, so I think we're on the right track. You claim one of those blood samples proves the presence of this third intruder. Well, which one is it? Okay, it's got to be this one, right? Which sample suggests that a third intruder was present? I mean, it's got to be... Is it going to be... The question is, are they going to want the calendar? I think this one is going to be... I don't know. I think it's really the two combined that proves it, right? Because they're both green. So I think it's going to be one of these two. We will try the disc because it may be that they're like, well, that was just somebody was shot there. Big deal. This one is like, no, let's present this one because this one happened that night, right? And then we can link it to the other guy with the disc, right? Let's try this. If this one doesn't work, we can try the other photo.
Take that!
And let's see. What am I looking at here? There appears to be some green paint or such like around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar. That's a blood stain, my lord. A blood stain. Green blood. Curious, even for you. Is the court to understand that the intruder was some unhuman creature? No, they're not like you at all. Don't worry, Van Zeeks. It's something developed by Mr. Herlock Sholmes. By the great detective? New invention, stop! Not yet appeared in stories, stop! It's this, you see. It doesn't have a name yet, though. This fogger sprays a chemical that reacts with the different elements in people's blood to change its color. Different elements of people's blood? Yes, everyone's blood is slightly different, you see, because it's made up of different elements. So by seeing which color it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is. Oh, that brings a whole extra dimension to looking at blood. Talk of blood in courtrooms. Stop. Very exciting. Stop. You're so mean to Van Zeeks. I mean, he's a blood-sucking vampire. Of course I've got to be mean. As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Windibank. A striking blue. Yes, so you see, the green color of this blood stain on the calendar shows that somebody else was shot in the main part of the shot. Now hold fire there, young man. Could be from some unrelated incident, couldn't it? No, it's not unrelated. I'm so glad we picked the calendar, because that argument would have thrown the disc out. Because the disc wasn't actually involved in the shooting. The date showing on the calendar is the date on which Mr. Windibank was killed. By golly! Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot on the same day. Then whose blood is it? Well, the Skulkin brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any gunshot injuries. Which means it must be the blood of somebody else, the third intruder, in fact.
Objection!
Whose identity the court is still waiting to hear. You can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Well, what we know. Who is this alleged third intruder? It's Egbert Benedict. A young English gentleman with an aloof and high-handed manner, he appeared at Windibank's pawnbroker accusing Gina of stealing his redemption ticket.
Take that!
Yep. The man's name is Egbert Benedict. He's Eggs Benedict. Egbert Benedict? Who on earth are you talking about, counsel? He paid a visit to Windibank's pawnbroker on the afternoon before the incident took place. The accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing this article into her possession. That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Egbert Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force. Broker? Yes, sir. I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no? Yes. I don't remember their voices. The article in question belongs to me. I demand it for it to be returned at once. Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull? Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel, and needless to say, any music box discs too. Oh boy. Inspector Gregson was there at the time and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc. Can you corroborate this account, Inspector? Yes, my lord. That's more or less what happened. And in the entrance of being thorough, I asked Windibank for a print showing the fellow. Taken from one of his red-ended recorder Gubbinsons. I don't know what that word is. Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Windibank that morning. Do you claim this man is the brother's accomplice? Well, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin? There's an awful lot of quiet going on. Never seen the geezer before in me life. On me life, Gov! On me life! Never seen him! There is an awful lot of denials going on. Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion. Of course they do. I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Nipponese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice. Yes, and I can. Then show us the evidence. I agree. We must see proof that the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is the filthy criminal you say he is. Alright, here we go. This is the last piece of evidence. I've had a feeling that something has been missing in this trial from the very start. But now, I'm going to drag it kicking and screaming into the courtroom. Are you ready to present your answer to the court then, counsel? Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. Proof that the man pictured in this photographic print was in fact the person struck by the third bullet. Well, be prepared for... I think it's going to be the portfolio again, right?
Take that!
As opposed to the disc itself. That proof is right here in this portfolio. Okay, Van Zeeks, roll your eyes. Good gracious, counsel. Does that portfolio contain the answers to every question posed? I see that you share my interest in claret-colored liquids, my Nipponese friend. But... enough. The court demands to see further evidence. Did he just say we've been drinking too much? Which blood sample proves the man you identified was the one shot by the third bullet at the scene of the crime? Oh no, he was talking about the blood sample colors. Alright,
Take that!
As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defendant attempted, deceitfully admittedly, to reclaim this disc from Windibanks. Which is when the aforementioned Egbert Benedict appeared on the scene, I believe. This man then attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's possession, no? That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time. It was following this that a minor incident occurred. But of course, sir. Here's the disc for you. Alright. Very well. Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style. Wait a minute. That disc is mine. What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal. Being a music box disc, it has countless small but sharp metal protrusions over its surface. Those protrusions caused Mr. Benedict's finger to bleed, and the resulting smear of blood is still visible on the disc now. Goodness, a blood stain, is it? My assistant and I have just analyzed the bloodstain here in this very courtroom while we were questioning witnesses, nonetheless. Using my trusty fogger gun. Yes, and we added the results to this portfolio. It is green. I say! It's green. It's exactly the same color of the blood around the calendar. The evidence is conclusive. The man calling himself Mr. Eggert Benedict, that name, who was in Windibanks earlier in the day, is the accomplice who was present at the scene of the crime that night. And boom, mic drop. So there was someone else there. Look at those two brothers now. They're sweating buckets. Oi, who are you talking about? It's boiling in here. My lord, it is the opinion of the defense that Mr. Eggert Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify. It would certainly seem that we can ill afford to ignore this gentleman's apparent presence.
Objection!
This has gone on long enough now, this flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law. Excuse me? Excuse me? Herlock Sholmes, you say? Yes, I've heard the name. The protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes, a god of detection or some such. Iris is gonna shoot daggers at him. And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fantastical persona in the highest court in the land. Do you expect us to take you seriously? The samples made by this plaything are not fit to be called evidence. So the bloodstain turned a shade of green. What of it? Here's to you successfully proving that no other blood in the world can turn the same color. Well... Sir, excuse you. And pray, do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Sholmes' word for it. Is he right? Mr. Sholmes' concoction a load of rubbish? I don't know. I mean, he is a great detective. What are you talking about? You can't let him get away with that. And once again, the case is collapsing around our ears. I knew it would come to this. Of course, Mr. Sholmes' invention isn't going to be recognized by any official body. But what other choice did I have? I'm just remembering what Father Christmas over there said before. I told you it was Santa Claus! Even Irish thinks it's Santa Claus! About how he was temporarily suspending the summation examination. In other words, the examination isn't over yet, is it? Good grief, what did you just say, young girl? And in a summation examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it? So the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Hurley's invention. At least, not for now. Yes, she's right. Young lady, you have quite the devious mind. It really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Bruno. Is that about right, would you say? Or did I misunderstand something? Unbelievable! Mr. Sholmes' partner is a force to be reckoned with. Iris Wilson, sharpshooter. After the shrewd process of the situation from an entirely unexpected source, it must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination has yet to reach its conclusion. This is absurd. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for your final leanings in this matter. As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you will come to fair and just conclusions. So then, state your final decisions in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Guilty.
Aw,
Guilty.
Not guilty.
okay, we got our 4. Nice. We have gotten it. 2 called guilty and 4 called not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
Objection!
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision. On what grounds? If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretender to real police work, then they are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt. Excuse me? I'm sorry, Lord Van Zeeks, but the outcome of the summation examination cannot be ignored. You go, Santa. This trial will continue. Failed again. Yeah, that's right. Take that stake in the heart, Van Zeeks. Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense has very reasonably requested the subpoena of a new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible. What? The name the gentleman gave for himself, Egbert Benedict, is quite clearly false. I don't believe it. Just when I'd managed to prove the man was there that night. Could I say something? Who's talking? Who was that, please? Who spoke? It was me, my lord. Juror number 5, does she know him? What have you to say, madam? If possible, Inspector. Me, ma'am? I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again, the one in which the gentleman is shown. Right, yes, this one you mean, of Mr. Benedict. Do you know him? Is it like a shifty brother of yours? Yes. There's no doubt in my mind. Juror number 5, you don't mean to say you know this man? Yes, I know him. What? No. Good gracious! Saved up by juror number 5. Order! 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 Juror number 5, how on earth? I am a communications officer. Stop! As we can clearly see, the gentleman in the photograph is stop. Also a communications officer. Stop. He works in my office. Stop. Really? A very talented officer, in fact. Stop. He should be in the communication station now. Stop. Tapping away on the telegraph. Stop. This doesn't seem right somehow. I can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right. I suppose we all imagine the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out that he has a respectable job by day, whatever he gets up to at night. Yes, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong. Wait. Is he a twin? Is his brother, is it twin brothers? Are we going to find out as twin brothers? I can't wait to find out. If the gentleman is at a London communication station, we should be able to subpoena him within the hour. Lord Van Zeeks, if you please. Yes, my lord. Make the necessary arrangements with all haste. As your lordship bids. The court will recess for 1 hour. When the new witness arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the gentleman's testimony. Inspector Gregson? Yes, my lord? I should like to hear from you specifically about events at the pawnbrokery on the day in question. Come to my chambers during the recess. Yes, sir, my lord? Very well, court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m. Oh boy. To be continued. We know that was coming. Wow. So we managed to turn the court or the jury around. So I feel pretty good about that. I'm pretty excited about that. So what are the current theories? So if Ryunosuke feels weird about the witness being called because he has a respectable job, the very first thing that pops to my mind is the twin brother situation where you have he's going to come in, he's going to be all respectable because she only identified him based on looks alone, right? Not manner, nothing like that. So my thinking is that he has a twin brother who's actually the criminal, and that's going to be what we're going to have to uncover. That's my theory, that's my guess. But we will see if that ends up being the case when we reconvene in the next episode and we get to see our new witness. So if you like this kind of content, please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff. If you want to watch live, we're on Twitch at twitch.tv/Lear27. I have my schedule posted in the about and in the description. And if you want to see which games I play each day, I post them on x.com/Lear27. And I hope you'll join me in the next one. Until then, guys, bye. All right. Don't end. I know, it's so good, isn't it? Like, I'm so excited. What's y'all's theories? What do y'all think's gonna happen? Any theories? Any theories out there about what'll happen next? I'm gonna go ahead and this will be where we end it, unfortunately. I am excited, but you gotta end it on the cliffhanger, right? So, you don't know what the theory is? That's what my theory is. That's literally the first thing that pops into my mind. I have no idea if that will be where the case goes, because it always seems to zig and zag. Just when you think it's going this way, it goes in a completely opposite direction. And yeah, but that one was really fun. I liked that, like how all the evidence was just like lining up with that disc in the portfolio, and it all came together again. So, and I'm glad that we finally got that dude back into the picture. So there was one other character we ran into at the very beginning of the episode of the case, I think, that has never made a reappearance. So I don't know, maybe that character will make another appearance, but I have no idea. But we will be back here tomorrow. I had to think of the day. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. We're going to be playing the Pandaria remix again. I don't know exactly what we're going to do. I think I might just do some of the quests and focus on the quests and see how far we can get in the storyline. That seems like it would be interesting to me. And then afterwards, we are going to be playing boxes again. So I'm excited about that. We will not be doing Shadows of Doubt tomorrow because tomorrow will be like probably the final. I might do something next week, but probably will be the final day for the drop, the little eyeball pet. If you want that in WoW, tomorrow will probably be the final day for that. Probably be the last day that I stream that in the time period. I'll probably do some more of the Pandaria remix, just not before the 30th, because that's like Friday. So make sure you check in on that. And then I think yeah, so that will be tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you're in for that. And other than that, I hope you guys have a lovely Memorial Day weekend. And I think let's go ahead and raid somebody else who's playing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. It looks like she is playing one of the cases that we did previously, the Russian on the boat, second case I think it was. So let's go ahead and give her a raid. If you missed that, you can always check it out. It's a super cool story. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!